So let me start the recording. So I see the intent of this assignment was primarily that all of you realize that automation is very necessary in VLSI also. So I many times see that people are scary of even small Python or small Perl or Perl scripts or small shell scripts at all. So you should be comfortable and you should do that. Otherwise, you will just end up wasting a lot of time in making measurements by hands or doing all that stuff. Tools offer a lot of automation scope in them, and that is what you should utilize. Otherwise, you will never be able to meet your time commitments. It won't work.
Yes.
So how many of us were able to take back at least this learning from this assignment? That automation is necessary. Like, so Vaishnav, are you raising hands to ask a question, or are you raising hands to say that, okay, you could take back this learning? I don't know.
Yes, sir. The second one, sir.
No, taking back. So just put a +1 in the chat window. That makes it easier for me. Okay. Oh, some of you used Excel also. Okay.
Sir,
Yes,
the
Vaishnav.
main issue was that, sir, the capacitance loading was so high that we had to, sometimes our time period gets undefined because my wave doesn't get settled. And during the low time period values, my wave, when it doesn't get settled, then some values will be getting into undefined. So
Yeah.
some time got wasted in figuring out that what was happening exactly in the background. And
Okay, good.
yeah.
See, all this learning you have to have. All this learning you have to have, because unless you do these simulations, get those undefined values, you will never realize that, you know, whenever you want to characterize something, you should give large windows. Even if you expect the delay to be 10 picoseconds, you give a window which is something like 2 nanoseconds. You know, in 65, I think when we were doing our memory level simulations, where delays were of the order of 2 to 3 nanoseconds, we gave a window of 50 nanoseconds. All measurements we would do in windows of 50, at least 50.
Sir,
How does it matter? These are
real
all event-driven simulators. Unless there is a change in any stimuli, the simulator will not take any extra time. You just
then you were saying
expand the
that
stimuli.
you were taking 50 nano, sir. Sir, what was the width of the PMOS and NMOS, sir, exactly?
How does it matter?
Sir, by increasing the width, even the delays get settled faster. Right?
Yeah. So I'm designing something. All that I need to do a simulation for is characterizing it, na?
Yes, sir.
So my circuit delay was, I know, within 2 nanoseconds. But for characterization, we used clock pulses, clock periods, address pulses, everything, which was 50 nanoseconds. Just so that we don't end up with this undefined wala cheez.
Yes, sir.
So that all transitions can actually complete. Even in the worst case PVT, in the worst case, even if I go down to 0.4 volts, which is not even a defined PVT for my circuit, even then 50 nanoseconds should be sufficient. That is the goal. That is the way you should design your characterization stimuli.
Sir, but I tried 50 nanoseconds, sir, even I was getting undefined. I don't know why I had to push through.
Then it means
beyond
the sizing was
100
terribly bad. It means sizing was terribly bad. For the loads that you have, you are not keeping the appropriate sizing. You are not using the logical effort methods that we have discussed. That is the only thing one can deduce out of it, Vaishnav.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So good. I'm happy that these functional aspects of what needs to be taken care of are now cleared up, and now you will move towards the project. So your first project presentation is next week. It's already been announced in the classroom, na?
Yes, sir.
So next Wednesday, am I right?
Yes.
Or next Friday? When is it?
27th Wednesday.
Next Wednesday is fine with all of you. You want it on a Friday?
Sir, Friday if possible, sir.
Yes, sir. Friday would be better.
See, postpone करके आपको कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा. I can assure you this. If you want, I can postpone it. We can have it on Friday also. Not really an issue. But finally, the deadline, the last date would not change. I think the last date would be, just give me a second. The final presentation. When are our end sems starting?
The first, third, I think the 1st of December. Not 30th.
First of
30th of
So our end sem, so our final presentation would still be on something like 26th and 27th. Okay. So उसमें फायदा नहीं होगा. That you still have to do. ठीक है. So we can do it on next Friday, no problems. So next Friday would be 29th then. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me just check with the TAs once. If 29th is comfortable for them, then we can do it on 29th. Otherwise, for now, so if it is 29th, we will announce the change in plans on the classroom. I will try to get it done on 29th. But if it is not possible for the TAs to handle it, then we will do it on 27th only. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So actually, I had to ask a little thing from the assignment. So like we were told that we were given 5 parameters and we had to also see the variations with respect to the sea load and the slope. So sir, like actually I was little stuck about the leakage. That is leakage dependent upon in any way on the sea load? Actually,
You
because
tell me.
so theoretical understanding, as I see, as I studied it, I might refer multiple, so I think it should not. But like with the simulations, if we try to like force ourselves to like see some relation, then sometimes we see. So maybe they could be, but I think it should not. But
See, there is some error simulator would always have. Na? We discussed about this many times that, minimum error of a simulator is something like 10 to 20 picoseconds, something like that. So if you are thinking that there is a trend within that 10 picosecond range, when the overall delay is 500 picoseconds, then within 10 picosecond range, I'm seeing a trend of increasing delay or increasing leakage and something like that. It's inconsequential. We call anything a trend when there is some change, some significant percentage wise change also. Okay. So with change in load capacitance, why should leakage change? There's no reason. So there's should be no impact. It should almost be the same value. Now within the error limits of the simulator, that's it.
Yeah. So actually there was with the slope, I could easier with a very directly reduce because during the slope we have any switching activity, so we will not talk of the leakage then. But with the load, there was some like not clear. Okay, sir.
No, but leakage is measured only after all the transitions have closed, na?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. So that's why slope was a bit pretty direct to say.
No, even slope should not have any impact on leakage.
Yes, sir.
It should have an impact on delay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Same, sir. The leakage, we could say that slope will not have pickup because doing that we are having switching activity. So that we can be.
Yeah, slope is only valid when there is some switching happening. Otherwise, why should slope have an impact on leakage? Okay, great.
Okay, thanks.
So, Deepank?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I want to just ask that in this first presentation, are we expecting the circuit to be working?
Are we expecting? I don't know. See what?
So I meant that it was written that stimuli and output waveform. So output waveform of the circuit is if the sizing has not been decided yet. So
yeah, so the delays we are not worried about, but at least functionality should be there, na, Deepank?
Okay.
If you have to make a complex gate, so we'll talk about complex gate in just a little while as we start the lecture. If you're talking about complex gates, then the functionality should, मतलब static CMOS में या PTL में इन सब चीजों में this is combinational circuit design. The functionality should always be fine, but should be available there.
In strong arm.
Sense amplifier, okay. So sense amplifier, you have to at least some offset value it should work.
Okay, sure.
It's in sense amplifier, so some offset value it should work. Now whether that offset is optimized or not, that you play around later. Okay, at least circuit topology is set, everything is set, na?
Sure.
So again, see, don't think of this first presentation as a burden. All of you, I'm telling you, don't think of this first presentation as a burden. It is only to help you, handhold you to start the project. If we do not have this first presentation, take it from me, you will end up starting the project only 2 weeks in advance, and then you will realize you cannot finish it within 2 weeks. So we don't want that to happen.
Yes,
That is why this first presentation, that at least kick off. Okay. The presentation also doesn't have much weight. What weight has been told by the PS? 5%?
So initially,
5.5.
10. I don't remember.
So yeah, the weight is much lesser than the final presentation. The intent is that you at least start, and we get to see that you've understood what the circuit is, what is the worst case PVT condition which you will need to see. So at least start to get your brain working on the topic. That is what is the intent. Okay. So don't take too much stress, but get started, get working. That is what we want to see, that you started to work, you started to think, you started to think ki stimuli kaisa hona chahiye, what kind of stimuli do you want to give, how will you characterize? Because
Yes.
every AOI, every OAI, you will possibly have a worst case stimuli which is different. So what is the worst case stimuli? And what is the worst case PVT that you anticipate? All that thought must go before this first presentation. Okay.
So by worst case stimuli, meaning for the worst propagation delays, what should be the stimuli that you're talking?
Yeah, worst case PVT for propagation delay, worst case PVT for contamination delay. So all those, so there is a different, so which transitions you expect the propagation delay to be maximum?
Okay.
Which transitions do you expect the contamination delay to be minimum? At least you should be able to identify that. Then you tell us which PVT you expect it to be worse, which PVT you expect it to be best. All that. वो thought jana chahiye na. That is, see, you are designers.
Yes.
You're not dummies. I do not see the intent of assignment 3 also was that you can be dummies, doing everything brute force, or you can be smart designers, doing some automation, doing some scripting. Over here in the first presentation, I want you to do some analysis. So scripting wala part is done now. Now you know that scripting will be required when you do the final characterization of your AOI or OAI gate or the sense amplifier, whatever. Now you understand that aspect. So now the next thing that we want to look for in this first presentation is, are you able to analyze the circuit? As you design the circuit, are you able to anticipate which is the worst case stimuli?
Okay, yeah, with respect to delays.
We want you to switch, upgrade your skill set, upgrade your thought process to the next level. Till now, the first assignment was just an inverter, something like that. Tools ko samajhna shuru karo. Second assignment was something a little more. Second assignment was this one. Second assignment was mid-sem ka question, something. Third is this one. So we want you to graduate. We want you to grow in your thought process. That's what this first presentation is about. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Gagandeep.
Hello, sir. When I was looking into the Monte Carlo graphs, so I was able to see that when I lower the voltage, then mostly my standard deviation goes bad. So, so this happened. So I kind of tried to figure out the reason, and I tried. I mean, what I think is that now the VTH shift that the Monte Carlo would do would be a greater part of the total voltage if I have 0.7. So, sir, is it that only, or is it something else because of which the standard deviation is going bad?
Yeah. So what happens? So it depends on which kind of things you're talking about, Gagandeep. For example, if you're talking about a combinational delay, then yes, this is the reason. But if you, for example, Deepak was mentioning about a strong arm sense amplifier, over there, the offset requirement, the offset requirement of the sense amplifier is not related to delay as much. The offset requirement is actually related to mismatch that is intrinsic to the architecture, to the structure of the sense amplifier. So in a sense amplifier, as you lower the voltage, you will see sigma will not change for the offset. For the delay, it may change, but for the offset, it will not change. Okay. So what you're observing is fine. What you deduced is also correct now. But there would be other cases, there would be other measurements where there may be no change in sigma, even though delays may change. For example, sense amplifier offset, the sigma should remain constant at whatever voltage we are validating it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes. And sir, one more question related to project.
Yeah.
Sir, I have that complex kit as my project. So, sir, under that, sir, if I want to size it, so I should have a specific input slew, worst input slew, or worst output capacitance, and uh, also the sizing I can do after that only, and the delay, worst case delay also. So,
So
if
all
these
of you
three,
have been told how many tracks you have to design the layout in?
12 tracks.
12 tracks. And what is the height of the N well? And what is the height of the C well?
7 tracks. Sir.
So
7
7
tracks.
tracks for N well and 5 tracks for the P well. So Gagandeep, that should tell you what size should NMOS be and what size should PMOS be.
sir, but still I can increase the size and go with more fingers and make the layout.
Yeah,
So,
so that is an area penalty. Even
So,
then, even if you go to more fingers, you want full fingers. Now you do not want fingers to be wasted. So
yes,
that
sir.
unit in which you should increase your NMOS or PMOS width, that would come from the template.
Yes, right.
This is important to realize now. This is not important to very important to realize now that as circuit designers, you simply cannot ignore the layout and do sizing. It simply is unacceptable. As circuit designers, you have to simultaneously also look at the layout and see, oh, if I increase the width by only 0.1, I kind of increase area by 20%, but my delay reduces only by 2%. Would you want to go with such a change?
No, sir.
Yeah. So as a designer, you have to continuously monitor what is the impact on layout with your sizing changes. That will define whether you want to go to 2 fingers or not.
Sir, at this point, we would be making the stick diagram, right, before going to the layout. So how we can
Yeah,
reduce
but
the area?
आपको पता तो है ना, आपको layout के अंदर template का you already know that there are 12 tracks that you're talking about, and there is this what do you say, 7 tracks for N well and 5 tracks for P well. So now you can just place an NMOS. Any one of you does it and tells everyone else, that is also fine with me. How does it matter? But you know what the dimension is. So you can very well, and you know the DRC, so you can just estimate what is the maximum NMOS you can put there.
Sir, sir, I have minimum of 0.135 width, 135 micron as a width. So
Minimum की
sir,
बात नहीं करेगा गंदी. Minimum, we're not talking about minimum. What is the maximum width of the NMOS and what is the maximum width of the PMOS that you can put in one finger in your template in those 12 tracks? That is what I'm saying. Minimum to is always 0.135. उसमें तो कोई challenge नहीं है. But 0.135 you will rarely make.
Okay, so maximum size will be limited by this track factor. Okay.
Yes. See, look at it like this. You make minimum, that is 0.135 width, or you make, let us say, 0.4 width or 0.5 width, whatever comes in your one finger. There's no change in area for the cell.
yes, sir.
So why make small?
So I mean,
okay, you can make small if you are concerned about leakage or fight back or stuff like that. But if you're worried about delays only, then why make small?
Right, sir.
So it's important to see what is the, how do we put it? It is important to see what is the height that is available or what is the maximum width that your template allows. And that is how you should design. Okay. Devjit?
Yes, sir. Just a small thing that Raghav asked regarding the output capacitance. So the reason I actually gave was means, sir, can I say, for an example, let's say our output is logic high, and in one case we are having just 10 femtofarad capacitance, and in another case we are having 500 femtofarad capacitance. And let's say we are measuring our leakage for around say 100 nanoseconds. So the degradation in logic level would be higher in 10 femtofarad capacitance, right? Due to subthreshold leakage. Now, as subthreshold leakage depend upon the VDS, so drain induced barrier loading would be means lower in case of 10 femtofarad capacitance case, whereas 500 femtofarad capacitance has the logic level won't degrade much. So subthreshold leakage would still be maintained at a higher level. So for higher loads, won't the leakage increase?
What difference do you expect when you have 10 femtofarads or 500 femtofarads in terms of change in voltage at the output?
Sir, it will be slowly leaking, right? So let's say
So
1
the
volt will
PMOS
have,
will also see, look at it like this. Let us say you stored 1 on the capacitor. Let's
Okay.
consider the case of an inverter only.
yes,
Let's say you stored a 1 on the capacitor.
Hmm.
So NMOS is leaking and PMOS is on.
Okay.
PMOS is
Yes,
fully
sir.
on.
Mhm.
Now let us say that NMOS leaks something, 10
Hmm.
millivolts, charge equivalent to 10 millivolts. The PMOS
Yes,
is
sir.
fully on. It will replenish that charge. Why would the voltage reduce at the output?
Okay. So, sir, is it again the same reason why we observe the IG and ID negative of each other? Because the amount of current sink by the ground is amount of current sourced by the VDD.
Yeah.
Every time. Okay, sir.
But do you
Okay.
get the point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Charge will be replenished again.
It will be replenished by the PMOS. You're talking about CMOS. You're talking about a CMOS inverter or a CMOS gate yet, है ना?
Okay.
A few of you are only working on PTL or dynamic, but even in dynamic, the clock wala PMOS is on. PTL we need to see. So PTL is a slightly complex beast to design. Let's see what you do with those. Faisal?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good
So
afternoon.
actually, I have a out of context. Yeah, out. Uh, like from the lectures, I'm able to get everything thoroughly. The lectures, every aspect, everything. But from the assignment part, I feel like I'm lagging somewhere. Like as compared to others. Like from this assignment, I made a mistake in schematic. I made the layout 4 times. I was able to, yeah, the EZ wave license issue. Then I get to know कि हाँ we'll calculate the leakage current like this from the Shadman sir, yeah, and how to calculate the dynamic power by analyzing the wave, and about the Monte Carlo simulation also. Like I was able to get the trend कि हाँ ये values पे हमारा इस तरीके से changes हो रहे हैं, हम अभी इस corner पे हैं, तो इस corner का सबसे slowest ये आ रहा है और इस corner का बेहतर मतलब जो हमने expect किया था तो fast वाला ये आ रहा है. तो is that enough or am I lagging?
So who told you that you're lagging?
Like right now I feel like yeah.
So just check with others. How many times did others make a layout? Just put a number in the chat window. How many iterations did you do with the layout or with the schematic or sizing or anything? So see,
Okay,
it is
someone has
expected.
written 10. Okay,
Yeah, it is
okay.
expected. See, I want you to learn. The more
Okay.
times you do it, you remember. I don't know, आप लोगों की, in your NCERT books whether this story was there or not, but in when we were young, there was this small couplet that was there in our NCERT Hindi books, which read something like this. करत करत अभ्यास के जड़मती होत सुजान, रसरी आवत जात के सिल पर पड़त निशान. What it means is that by practicing and practicing, even a fool becomes wise. Just like even such a flexible rope, very flexible rope, what does it do on a well? It just goes, takes the bucket down, brings it up, takes it down, brings it up. Even a rope can make marks on the wall of a well.
Yes, sir.
So practice is what will make you perfect. Practice is what will give you the skill. Why do you worry? Repetitions are necessary.
Yeah. Understood.
Okay. It is unfortunate that we have just one semester, for example, and I cannot really make you do many repetitions. Otherwise, repetitions are necessary. When you will join, whichever job you join, let me assure you, first 2 years will only be repetitions. Same work, this flavor, another flavor, but same work, same kind of work, just repetition, 1 to 2 years. So that at least you are well versed with the tools. अभी देखो अभी तो tools को ही आप you don't have a good handle of tools. You're just getting introduced to them. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So in comparison to anywhere else in the country, I assure you, you know much more than any one of them. ठीक है?
Okay.
But if I ask you to go and start designing in some place, you're still not there, far away. But at least yes, you are. Once you are there, you will ramp up very fast. That is what I want. Okay. But even then, let me assure you, at least 1-2 years, you will have to just do some repetitive work.
Okay.
Once you demonstrate that yes, we are sharp enough, I am sharp enough, I have sufficient understanding, only then you will get some designing work. And it's not just for you, Faisal. It happened with me also. First 2 years, even at a place like ST, which actually has extremely good quality work, most of the work that I got to do was just running simulations, collecting results. And yes, so that was my initiative. Whenever I would collect results, I would try to make analysis out of that. I would present that analysis to my team leader, and then they could sense that, okay, he understands. Then because they could get that sense, they started to give me some more meaty work. But otherwise, if you just do not do anything, then they will take 3 years. Otherwise, at least 1.5 years will only be doing repetitive work. And that's required.
Yes, I'm getting your point.
So don't worry about this repetition. Repetition is needed.
Okay.
गलतियां होंगी तभी तो सीखोगे ना.
Yes, sir.
And with this kind of assignment, see, this is a very practical course. If you realize, this is not a theoretical course. Are you able to see this?
Yeah, obviously.
So if it's a practical course, then there will be mistakes. You have to make mistakes to learn. And at least in the lab aspect, definitely. Lab is practical by nature. So you will make mistakes, and that is where you will learn. So it's fine, absolutely fine. Don't get stressed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gagandeep?
Hello, sir. Sir, when I was observing the trend of leakage
So
current.
yeah, एक minute. So can we set a new rule amongst us? Can we set a new rule amongst us that you call me Anuj only? Sir हटा देते हैं. Everyone. Can we do that?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
No, why? I want you to call me by my name.
Say it
Really?
is kind of uneasy, like uncomfortable for us.
Initially होगा, but फिर finally तो ठीक हो जाएगा ना. ट्राई तो करके देखो. अरे भाई, मैं तुम्हारे को उसके भी नेक्स्ट लेवल के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहा हूँ. आप में से किसी को आगे जाके यूएस में पढ़ना है या कहीं कुछ करना है, तो यू विल हैव टू कॉल योर प्रोफेसर सर ओनली ना, बाय देयर नेम ओनली. So let's transition into that phase. See, इतना आप भी जानते हैं, this much you also know, and I also know that whether you call me sir or whether you call me Anuj, it does not change the respect and regard that you have for me, neither on the positive side nor on the negative side. Do you know this? Are you with me on this thing?
Yes, sir.
Sir, नहीं.
Okay.
सर इंस्टिंक्टिव बन चुका है सर अभी.
No, I understand, but I don't want this salutation to be there. Can we do that? At least try. I will point out. I will not feel offended if you end up saying it, but let's try to be on first name basis. So this is the first batch, or this is the first meeting after this 5-day workshop. So I'm in a different zone altogether, and this is what I will tell all my students. Okay, let's be on first name basis. It's good to be like that. And from where I look at it, if you respect me, you respect me nevertheless, whether you call me Anuj or whether you call me sir. Is it not? And if you don't respect me, then again, whether you call me sir, it doesn't matter at all. So what I think, and my experience has always been that if you remove this sir na, so some space reduces and you will be more comfortable interacting with me. अभी मुझे कभी कभी ऐसी फीलिंग आती है कि कहीं पे कोई डरता है, कोई बातें नहीं बता रहा है, शेयर नहीं कर रहे हैं, सवाल नहीं पूछ रहे हैं. So let's try to remove the sir. नहीं तो मैं देखो कितने सारे सर हो जाएंगे, मैं रावण से भी कितना बड़ा हो जाऊंगा सोचो, है ना. मेरे को एक सर काफी है मेरे पास. I don't need more sirs.
Sir, here even the canteen boy who comes to deliver food, he calls us sir.
So that is fine. That is a different relationship. But we can have a different relationship, ना Raghav?
बहुत ही अमीजी फीलिंग होती है, मतलब आपसे बोला
अभी लगेगा, बाद में नहीं लगेगा. मैं रिस्पेक्ट थोड़े ना कम करने को कह रहा हूँ. Am I saying कि रिस्पेक्ट मत करो? नहीं, रिस्पेक्ट पूरा करो यार. सर मत लगाओ. You realize sir doesn't mean respect. Even with Anuj, you will be able to give me that kind of respect and regard. Don't worry. I know.
तो वो तो पता है कि colonial concept सर वाला
है ना, तो सर से फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. तो सर हटा देते हैं, रिस्पेक्ट रहने देते हैं. ठीक है, कोशिश करते हैं. Let us try. Let us mature up to that level. Yes, गगनदीप. नहीं, गगनदीप ने हाथ ही नीचे कर लिया. पूछेगा ही नहीं, ये तो गड़बड़ है.
सर के बगैर पूरा सर थोड़ा मुश्किल है.
हाँ. नहीं, बोलो गगनदीप, क्या हुआ बताओ.
Actually, sir, there is some noise from outside, so I can save my question for later.
Okay. So then we can have your question later, Gagandip. चलेगा बाद में?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay. So we move to the class 10.
Can I ask?
Yes, please.
About the stack effect only, like stack effect is something that is due to the stacking, that is something unexpected. Like if we know the circuit, we know that there will be stack, that there will be stack effect. Like, but it was reducing our leakage. Yeah, it was reducing our leakage, and it was increasing the junction leakage. Am I right till now?
Junction leakage क्यों बढ़ेगा भाई?
Because the source and body are reverse bias. That is why the tunneling, the BT tunneling was happening, and the leakage was increasing because it was reverse bias. Am I right in this manner?
But junction leakage would have hardly any impact actually.
Okay. Actually, my doubt is something different.
Yeah. So let's come to the doubt.
Yeah. Why we were not just shorting the source and body?
Oh, so ये तो हमने discuss करा था फैजल. How are so let us consider the NMOS case. It is very easy to understand. What do you mean by having a different body voltage? If you want to short the source and the body, then in the NAND gate, the upper NMOS, its body needs to be connected to some intermediate voltage Vx. So how is the body voltage connected to a NMOS? Physically in the layout.
The body voltage is connected to the NMOS.
You've done the layout, you've done LVS.
Yeah.
So you got some stamping error sometime?
Yeah.
When did you get the stamping error?
I have actually connected the substrate. I'm not able to explain this.
No. When did you get the stamping error in your layout? When you were doing LVS, how did you correct the stamping error?
I have connected the substrate of the upper NMOS with the source only. I have not connected the substrate of the upper NMOS with the like the ground. That's why.
Yeah. So how did you make the layout of it?
I'm not able to explain this.
So let me open a whiteboard and then let us review it from there. Just give me a second.
Sir, regarding stamping error, sir, whenever I got a stamping error, I used to delete the pin, sir.
Delete the pin? Which pin?
Wherever I got this error, I used to delete that, and it used to go, sir.
Okay.
Actually, I
So,
got a net 17 error in the LVS. Like you have connected the net 17 incorrectly.
so you're able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Let us say you are making NMOSes somewhere. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Let us say you are making NMOSes. This is how we talked about the NAND gate.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Arey bhai. So let us say this is, I connect this one. This one I connect to ground.
Yeah.
And this is my output, let us say. Okay? So this is my NMOS for which you are saying I want a
Yes, sir.
substrate connected to
Source.
over here. Something is happening. So over for this particular NMOS, you want the substrate connected to a different value. Am I right?
Yeah.
How would you do that? How do you connect the substrate for this one first? Let us see. How do you connect the substrate for this one?
Substrate to the source.
Yeah, how do you connect the substrate voltage?
PTAP, sir.
Yeah.
You remember you put a separate N plus P plus here and you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
PTAP.
had a connection done.
Yes, sir.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
So what did this connection do?
This connection was the PTAP connection, which was reducing the latch up only, like to reduce the latch up condition.
What does latch up? How do you reduce latch up? By giving the substrate connections more frequently, है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes. Ha.
है ना? So this was, in this particular thing, you were using substrate connections.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So now if you have to give a different substrate connection to this one, how would you give that?
We'll just connect this to the metal layer which is connecting the P-tab. Like तब हो जाएगा ना?
So you say that I will take a metal from here and connect it here.
हाँ.
So you will not make this connection then. Then how will this device get the ground on its substrate?
Sir, we can make a deep N well and make a contact in that, sir, if possible.
Yeah, अभी तो हम जो layout बनाया गया है उसकी बात कर रहे हैं ना. We're talking about what has already been done in the assignment yet.
Yes, sir.
है ना? I don't think Faisal made a deep N well. Faisal, did you make a deep N well?
No, sir.
No. You're talking of a regular NAND gate.
Yes, sir.
है ना? You do not want to waste area by the deep N well.
Yeah.
So now tell me, how will you separate the substrate connections of these two NMOSes?
Like then we have to take another P-tab.
So, okay, even if you take another P-tab, let us say on the other side, on the right side also, you made another P-tab. Let us put it like this. Let us make another P-tab. So do you think I can put any other voltage over here now?
Where, sir?
Can I? What will happen in the substrate?
So where you're talking about the voltage, can we put another voltage here?
You tell me.
Sir, I'm asking actually.
No, so see, beneath this, there is a substrate connection, na?
Yes, sir.
Substrate is connected throughout.
Yes, sir.
If you put one voltage at one place, another voltage at another place, there will be a power connection. You know, it's like you're shorting two different voltage supplies.
So it is not possible. Yeah.
So this also has to be ground only then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you cannot really put that Vx voltage on the substrate of the upper NMOS because it is physically not available to you. Physically, the NMOSes which share the same P well share the same substrate voltage.
Yes, sir, now I'm getting your point a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so this is a very important point. Therefore, I decided to cover this in this class itself, because we've already discussed this in the office hours. But it seems some people missed it. So therefore, I'm discussing it in the class that this has to be taken care of. Okay, it is not possible to connect two different substrate supplies on the same substrate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Deepank?
I had a doubt from last class. So if we are doing power gating to reduce leakage, so my doubt was that since you said that sleep signal is going everywhere, so that means that we are applying power gating at many parts of the circuit. So wouldn't leakage due to those PMOSes come into play?
So there is a big circuit. Its total leakage is, let us say, 1 milliampere. You do a power gating. The PMOS that is now switched off, it has a constrained leakage because it's a PMOS and it's definitely smaller than the huge circuit that you have power gated now. So this PMOS only leaks, let us say, 1 microampere. They still reduce leakage 1,000 times, no? So something will leak, but the overall leakage will reduce.
Okay. And I saw in my simulation that I was getting static leakage highest at TT25. I don't know if it's correct, but I assume that that might be due to gate leakage.
If it is static leakage that you're talking about and that component is highest at TT25, it need not necessarily be gate leakage. This is a strange result, Deepank. We say that at TT25, gate leakage dominates, not because gate leakage increases at TT25, but because other leakages are lesser at TT25.
Okay.
That doesn't mean leakage would increase at TT25 from in comparison to other PVTs. It doesn't mean that.
Okay,
This is the wrong method. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to check your setup.
Okay.
So Gandeep?
Hello, sir. My doubt is related to layout, sir. Sir, since you are saying that we have that PR boundary defined and everything in the standard cell, I have a specific height and I do not want to increase the width further. So, sir, this way, I don't know if I am right or not, but if I think of it like this, that if I make a schematic, if I check it, if it is functionally correct or not, and then I can straight away move to layout and increase my width of OD as much as I can without increasing the width, so to get the sizing rather than going to simulation for sizing. Can we do that?
If you know that the output load is small enough, then yes. If the output load is huge, Gandeep, then you will need to do some sizing first, because then you need to know how many fingers to put. So if I say that the output load is, let us say, 100 femtofarads, then one thing is very clear, that just one finger will not suffice. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So logical effort analysis and everything will tell me, okay, I need an NMOS which is at least 12 microns. So I need something like 10 fingers, let us say. So now you say, okay, 12 microns tha, I get in 10 fingers, I get 11.5. So let me put 10 fingers. Then you go to the layer.
So, sir, in this way, you should also define in the specification the capacitance that we need to drive.
Yeah.
So what should it be, the capacitance?
It's not defined in the specification yet?
I don't think so. It is not there.
Okay, so you can, for now, assume something like 25 femtofarads.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Vaishnav?
Sir, I have a doubt in stack effect, sir, in the previous class, sir. So, sir, I can understand that due to stack effect, sir, my source voltage is at a point. I'm speaking about NMOS, sir. My source voltage is at a higher potential. So, due to this, my VT, whatever my VT is there, my VT will be increased and my leakage current will be reduced. Sir, but the example in which you give, sir, this one three input NAND gate example, sir. During the even in the 0 0, to be honest, I didn't understand the whole thing, sir. When I was applying that 0 0 0, then my ABC and MOSFETs were off. Then I don't understand how this VX and VZ have some potential actually. We have written it as stack effect and stack effect. So there is no path for my output to get to a point on VZ and VX. Then how is it stack effect, sir, exactly?
So what is it that we are saying reduces, Vaishnav?
Sir, leakage current, sir.
Leakage reducer. So there is some current flowing now.
If the stack effect appears, then we say that leakage is reducing. But
let us say
here,
there was no stack effect. Let us say forget the stack effect. Let us forget the stack effect for now. You connected 3 NMOSes. There is some leakage current. So some current is flowing.
Yes, when my NMOS are on. Yes, sir.
No, even when the NMOSes are off, there is leakage.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Yeah.
So some current is flowing.
Yes, sir. Leakage. Yes, sir. Leakage is spoken when we turn.
Some current is flowing.
Yes.
So
yes,
if
sir.
there is some current flowing through any resistive path, how will the voltage divide over those resistances and between those resistances? And some ratio of those resistances only.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So you will have some VX and VZ, no?
Okay. Yes, sir. Sir, but during explanation, sir, while you were talking about this, you gave an example of two input NAND gate, sir. In that, my VDD was directly appearing on my source terminal of upper NMOS. Right, sir.
Okay, in that particular example, then the upper NMOS must be on.
Yes. Upper NMOS is on and my lower NMOS is off. So that my upper same regarding regarding PMOS is on in the upper circuit.
So is the doubt about why VX and why VZ even appear? Is that part clear?
That is clear, sir.
Now you can analyze further.
To relate this 2-input NAND gate thing with 3-input NAND gate thing, sir. Actually,
okay, then try solving a 8-input NAND gate. You will be able to rate the 2-input NAND gate automatically.
Sir, last doubt, sir. Last doubt, sir. So my VA source voltage is at some potential if my B PMOS is on and A NMOS is on, right, sir? So we are calling this as stack effect. Because
don't get digressed by the semantics. You tell me, will there be a voltage which is different than ground on one of those intermediate nodes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
That is it. If there is a voltage different than ground, then that NMOS's VT has changed.
Okay. Yes.
That is what we are calling stack effect.
So during this calculation, we are supposed to see the leakage part. Leakage thing.
Even delay would change, Vaishnav.
Yes. Yeah.
VT is changed, so delay would also change.
Yes, sir. Sir, and one more doubt, sir. I was while you were explaining this DIBL, sir. You explained about DIBL, sir. I understood that. Yeah, this effect is much effective in short channel, sir. But there was a graph of sub threshold, sir, which it was going in the negative direction, even in the negative direction, sir. I was unable to relate this with that, sir. Even in GIDL also, sir, gate induced strain load.
Yeah, so you just read the book once.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Because see, if you go into all those details, you are entering into deep SSD. And while I want you to be aware of that, if you really want to understand it in detail, the book is the reference that is already provided.
Yes, sir. I will. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, is it okay if we come to the class now?
Just one thing, sir.
Yes, right.
He was asking about the layout. You said that you were talking about fingers, but how we were determining fingers, that was not clear to me when you were explaining. We know that, okay, the sizing would be impacted by the standard cell, but now how much fingering, that is concept was not clear.
So in this particular layout, if I say this is the height of my NMOS region, I can tell what is the maximum width I can get, because I have to keep a spacing from this PR boundary. I have to keep a spacing from this end well. All these constraints are already known to me.
Yes, yes.
I can know the maximum width per finger.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I say that I have to draw 10 nanometer, 10 micron ka device, and my one device width, one finger width is, let us say, 1.2 microns, then this, I know this is approximately how many? 8.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will say, okay, I will keep 8 fingers. I will be at 9.6 microns instead of 10. I will save area.
So last one, what was that? 8.9 is we are coming, yeah. So
This is 8 to 9. No? This is 8 point something, 8.33.
yes, yes, yes.
So I do not want to have a 0.33 finger. I will instead have only 8 fingers.
Okay, we will get area benefit. Okay.
Yeah. So my final, so if I make 8 fingers, then my device would be 9.6 microns
Yes.
instead of 10 microns.
But then the delays would get a little.
How much? If you added one more finger, you would add so much more capacitance also into picture. What did you reduce? Just 0.4 microns you reduced out of 10.
Okay, yeah, after PEX that was
Only 4% in device width. But if you would go for that additional 4% in device width, you will increase capacitances by 5%.
okay.
You will increase area and you will increase leakage also. What's the point?
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
This understanding you need to have as a designer. Okay?
The area increase, then why the leakage would increase?
Why the leakage will increase? Because you went to 10 microns. Instead of 9.6, you went to 10, na?
Yes. Yes.
So leakage बढ़ेगा, junction leakage ही बढ़ जाएगा.
Okay, actually, earlier we were not considering junction leakage, yeah. But here, okay.
You have to consider every leakage, na?
Okay.
Okay.
So as you mentioned the specification for load, so is there any specification for input slew for the complex units?
No, input slow you consider to be 20 picoseconds. No issue.
Oh.
Good,
And
very
sir,
good input slow. 20 picoseconds is very good.
And sir, the target delay, what it should be for sizing?
There's no target delay. You do the sizing as so. With standard cells, there is no target delay that we look at. You just give a load and we just then characterize the delay. Minimum area that you can. So just do logical effort analysis and see if you need to do anything more than one finger. I don't think so. My intent is that you draw with one finger only. That is where I've given a small enough load. I'm not giving a very large load there. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So now we come to our next section, which is where your project also is. We're talking about combinational logic design. So in this combinational circuit design, let us first understand what is the difference between combinational circuit and sequential circuit. Who will tell me?
Sir, output of combinational circuit only depends on the present input, and the output of sequential circuit depends upon present input as well as the previous inputs also.
Okay. What is an example of a sequential circuit?
Any FSM that we design. Sequence detector maybe.
No, let us say circuits that you know of already. You use them already.
Flip-flop, latch and flip-flop.
Latches, flip-flops, they're all sequential circuits. And combinational circuit?
Any basic comparator.
Normal gate.
NAND gate, abhi jo hum baat
Adder,
kar rahe hain.
universal
Adder,
gates and basic gates.
yes. All these gates, they are all combinational circuits. So we'll first look at combinational logic design in this class and the next one. Then we will move to sequential circuit design in the class after that. Okay. So in terms of combinational, yeah, nahi, uske bhi zyada lagega. But in the combinational circuit design, then you have two different design styles. Most common two different design styles. We will look at other design styles also, but most common styles are static CMOS and dynamic. So static CMOS, all of us know.
Yes, sir.
What is dynamic logic?
Sir, in this logic, we use a clock, and we do not use we do not use a PMOS circuit here. We use only NMOS and use the PMOS and NMOS for giving a clock above and below the NMOS logic.
Sir, we
Okay.
can do it in two ways, sir. We can have a pull-up network or we can have a pull-down network. We'll be changing our output position, however, regarding that. The main issue with this dynamic logic is that, okay, advantage is that area gets reduced at first, and issue is that we'll have some race around conditions and cascading conditions.
Okay, so we'll anyways look into much more detail in dynamic logic later. But whenever we call dynamic logic, whether it is even, memory cell, for example, if it's a static memory, then you have a 60 transistor memory cell. If it's a dynamic memory, then you have dynamic RAM, then you have a capacitor on which you will store charge. So in dynamic logic, there will be some time, some input combinational state where the output is not driven by anything else, but is dependent on some charge stored on some capacitance.
So I mean the output logic will depend upon the charge stored on the capacitor at some point.
Yeah, output will be driven because of some charge stored on some capacitor. Now, if by some reason, either because of leakage or because of crosstalk or because of some other reason, that charge gets dissipated, there is no way to recover that charge during the cycle.
So, but
and you lose data, you get incorrect output.
But during the static also, the voltage, the Cout, what he is observing, that only will transfer the logic to the other stage.
In a static CMOS, let us say a NAND gate, if there is some noise on one of the inputs, will the output change? Okay, it may have a glitch, output may have a glitch, but it will again come back to the original correct state, is it not? Let us say I gave a small glitch on the input A of a NAND gate. There would be a small glitch on the output, but it will only be a glitch. For a dynamic logic gate, it will not get a glitch. You give a glitch on the input and you will have a permanent voltage loss at the output. Don't worry. We will see this in much more detail in probably the next class. But for now, just remember that in static CMOS, we're not leaving anything to chance. We actually always have a pull-up network or a pull-down network that is on. So the output is always driven. In dynamic logic, the output may not always be driven, and there will be times when the output is driven is only because of some charge stored on some capacitor. Is this okay?
Sir, so the capacitance drives the output, or the capacitance just defines what the output state is?
Yeah, it could be anything. So you may have a series of inverters after this capacitance. So we say, okay, the capacitance only drives the output, but this capacitance could be the output directly.
So like there could be an amplifier that actually drives some other output based on the capacity and the value stored on charge stored on capacitance.
Yes.
So is it something like that, or it can directly drive, let's say, an inverter without any amplifier in between?
Yeah, it can directly drive an inverter. Your dynamic gate could be input. It could be an input to an inverter. Yes.
Okay, sir. So in that case, as soon as inverter reads it, there is a chance that this dynamic logic will discharge.
Where in a CMOS gate, does the gate consume any power?
Leakage, sir.
Leakage will take years, lots of time. Gate leakage is relatively much lesser than any other form of leakage. उससे ज़्यादा leakage तो ये gate खुद कर देगा.
Okay, sir.
So good that you're thinking on those lines. But yes, I understand that you do not have the the order of magnitude of these different components yet readily available to you. So you can assume this. I'm fine. So don't feel bad ki I gave you a different answer. It's fine. But that really is not that big a botheration, Madhur. Gate leakage is not really that big a botheration. So dynamic logic is still very widely used.
Okay, sir. So I can drive a static logic by dynamic output as well.
Yes.
Okay.
You
Sir.
can drive static logic with a dynamic input, but dynamic logic itself has some weaknesses. We will look at that in the next session. It
Okay,
has
sir.
some weaknesses, and then you will need to take care of them. So how many of you are actually designing a dynamic AOI or OAI in your project? Put a +1 in the chat window if you are. Oh, okay, someone. Yeah. So you will see that you will have to take care of this capacitance, and you will have to check the noise immunity of your gate. We will look at various failure modes of dynamic logic. So you will need to just analyze your circuit accordingly. Okay. Gagandeep?
Sir, I was asking that if even if the DRAM cell is not a logic gate, it is still called dynamic logic.
It's called dynamic RAM cell. Yes, not logic. Dynamic.
Okay.
Dynamic because it's storing something on a capacitor, and you need to refresh it. You need to ensure that some leakage or whatever has happened, it is kind of recovered on a regular basis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this much you know, that in a static CMOS, there is a pull-up network and a pull-down network. And that pull-up network and pull-down network are duals of each other. All of you, even in your assignment or somewhere else, you must have seen this. You've already checked this in the in your exam also. Am I right? So pull-up network and pull-down network are duals of each other. What does this mean?
When one is on, matlab one transistor in up is on, then other is off in the bottom part.
Okay, when the pull-up network is driving, then the pull-down network will be off, and vice versa.
Yes, sir.
But how do you make a dual?
Sir, the series transistor in NMOS are parallel in the PMOS. So that is dual.
So the dual of a series transistor would be parallel transistors on the PMOS side, and vice versa. For example, in a NAND gate, you have NMOSes in series, and you get A and B. On the PMOS side, you have A parallel B. And a 2-input NAND gate. You remember? How is a 2-input NAND gate made? Wait. So in a 2-input NAND gate, you have PMOSes in parallel and NMOSes in series. What has happened? Yeah, something is happening. So when this so this is called a dual, where the same logic is implemented. If it is implemented in series in the NMOSes, it is implemented as parallel in the PMOSes, and vice versa. Something which is implemented as parallel in the NMOSes will be implemented as series in the PMOSes. This part is clear, friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I connect NMOSes in the pull-up network, then what happens?
VT drop happens and output cannot go above VDD minus VT.
Yes, VT drops happens and output cannot go above VDD minus VT. Similarly, if I put a PMOS on the pull-down network, what happens?
It cannot drive a proper zero.
It cannot drive a proper zero. It will drive it only down to VT.
VT.
So this VT drop is something that you should always be alert about, especially when you're designing PTL logic. So what is PTL we will see, but when you're designing pass transistor logic, PTL logic, these voltage drops is something that you need to be extremely careful about. Okay, we will look into it in detail later. Okay.
So VT drop means that we should not put the NMOS in the PDN, the pull-up network.
The NMOS will have to be put in the pull-down network. Dekho na?
Yes. Okay.
When the NMOS is in the pull-down network, your output will go to 0. Otherwise, your output will only go to VTP. It will not be able to go down to full 0.
But then why we're calling it VT drop or threshold drops? I mean,
because that is what happened now. 0 was expected to be transferred here, but 0 could not be transferred. It got limited by the VT of this PMOS.
Okay.
Is that okay? So I need to do something with the PPT. It kind of gets hanged every now and then. I'm not able to move there. So this is one thing that we need to be alert about, that there will be VT drops across the NMOS and PMOS when they are used to transmit VDD and ground respectively. Okay, because a PMOS cannot transmit a good ground, a good 0, and a NMOS cannot transmit a good 1. Okay. So just give me a moment, the PPT is again opening up. So when we talk of complementary CMOS, oh, you're not able to see the slide yet, am I right? Is my slide visible?
Now it's visible, sir.
Okay, so we say that pull-up network is a dual of the pull-down network in a complementary CMOS style, and CMOS is always an inverting gate. If you want to implement an AND gate, you will have to first implement a NAND gate, and only then you will be able to implement the AND gate. Okay, so you can implement inverting gates in one gate in one stage, but non-inverting gates require 2 stages. Okay, so this much we know. I will quickly move forward. Any doubt in this one, how to make an AND gate? We've already done so much of it. NOR gate we know. NOR gate all of us know?
yes, sir.
So if I talk of a complex CMOS gate like this, how would my dual, the PMOS network, look like? Quickly. This also I know you know.
Sir, B and C in series, sir. It's in parallel with A. And the whole circuit is parallel with, series with D.
Okay. Thank you, Vaishnav. Abhishek?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You were saying something.
No, sir. No.
Anyone else has a different view? Or is Vaishnav correct? Is it clear?
Yes.
So the dual, the PMOS side would mean that since D is parallel over here, D goes in series. A, which was in series earlier, comes in parallel, and B and C, which were in parallel in the NMOS stack, come in series. Okay, so this would be the complex CMOS gate. This is like the AOIs and OIs that you're going to design. So how to construct a complex gate? First design the pull down network, and then by looking at the pull down network, you design the pull up network. Okay, and Logical effort of complex gates. Are you able to see? We've already done this. We've already seen this slide earlier also. You remember we have seen this slide when we were looking at the first time when we looked at the G and the H thing. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. So the logical effort of these gates can also be calculated in exactly the same manner as we did for the first complex gate. So who will give me the value of GC or GD now?
6/3.
6/3 again. What about P?
12/3.
Hmm?
12/3.
12/3. Great. What about now GA over here?
5/3.
What about GB?
8/3.
What are you doing? You are
Adding
We are
essentially
adding
adding the NMOS and PMOS of the gate and dividing it by 3,
3.
which is the
P
load
of
of
the
the
inverter.
inverter. Hmm? So, and how are you able to see the way the sizing has been done?
The
Yes, sir.
equivalent resistance has been
Equivalent to the
calculated.
resistance of the inverter.
Yeah. Okay. So we've ensured that the equivalent resistance of the inverter is same, come whatever be the case. Okay. So how do you estimate the delay of a complex gate? Like if I make a complex gate versus I make a two-stage other thing, what do you expect in terms of delay?
Path delay, sir. Path
Yeah.
delay, sir.
Yeah. So for this, the overall H, let us say, is 10. B is 1, there are no branching happening anywhere. And number of stages is 2 in both the cases. So what would be the different delays? Can you find out by using logical effort analysis?
Sir, this is possible only if we give our output, matlab C load, right, sir?
The load has been told, no? 160 units.
Okay, sorry, sir. Yes, yeah.
So we see, okay, P is 2 plus 2. G, we know NAND gates 4/3, 4/3, NOR gate on the other side. And then GBH is something like this, and I get the delay to be 12.4 tau. I'm going quickly because this you already done. What about this one? In this case, there is a 4 input first gate and 1 input second gate. So 4 plus 1, 5. What about G? You can quickly make this gate and find out its G. You will see that G is equal to 2. F is GBH. So 20, because H is 10 over here. And what about total delay now? Total delay has increased a little, appears to increase a little, 14 tau. Then why are we talking about complex gates? If the delay has increased a little, why are we talking about complex gates?
Sir, area reduces very significantly.
Area reduces very significantly. And how do we see that? In the first case, you say that 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and 25, 25, 25, 25. You just do this analysis. And what about the second one? See, the area is reduced to 36. No, sorry. Area is not reduced to 36. The second stage is 36. The first stage is 40 plus 24.
That is input capacitance, right?
Yeah, input capacitance you're saying is also a measure of area, na?
Oh, okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in the first case, what is the area? 8 devices of 8 microns each, so 64 plus 4 of 25 each, so 164. In the second case, what is the area? 16 into 4 plus 36. 64 plus 36. 100. So area has reduced so significantly, 164 versus 100. So even if delay increased by that little amount, in reality, because my area is so much lesser, the parasitics and everything will be lesser. So in fact, delay of a complex gate is also lesser. Okay. So this is one thing in reality. So this is one thing you have to prove in your projects. You know this, no?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, Gagandeep.
Sir, if I have a gate, the complex gate which has a different G value for different inputs, so which one will I take, the worst G or the best G for the calculation of delay?
Yeah. So for calculation of propagation delay, you will take the first G.
Okay. Then contamination, the best G.
Yes. Hana?
Sir.
Now this is anyways back of the envelope calculation, Gagandeep. Final characterization you have to do on simulation.
Yes, sir.
Hana?
Sir,
This is only for initial sizing. Yes, Vaishnav.
Sir, in project you were saying that okay, we are supposed to compare this both. So are we supposed to make the layout of both, or only one is enough, sir?
So how will you prove to me that area is okay? Area you can still say numbers are higher, but how will you prove to me that delay is lesser? Delay is also lesser in the complex gate if you don't make the layout.
Sir, I can say that only parasitic is small, so I'll neglect that and pre-layout I'll be doing.
How will you prove to me? How will you prove to me? Say to koi, I am also saying now.
Okay, sir. Yes, yes, understood.
Sir, one small thing. Sir, for making the layouts of non-complex gates, so if you are cascading one NAND gate after the other, so I think metal layers would get blocked, right? Again. So metal.
Yeah, at most you may need one metal too to make those connections. Use then only for that purpose. Use metal too.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Only for that purpose. So you should be evident in that. Like when you show the layout, it should be evident there. Hana?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you think this input order matters?
Yes,
we
sir.
discussed this. It matters.
Yes.
Hana? So where will the propagation delay be highest? Which input to output delay will be highest? A to Y or B to Y?
B2Y.
B2Y will be highest, yes.
B2Y will be larger delay. Hana? And if B arrives later, if B as an input, so see, your NAND gate is being driven by some other logic somewhere. So if B arrives later, then should B be connected to the lower NMOS or the upper NMOS?
Upper, sir.
Then you should connect B to the upper NMOS so that what happens?
We can drive the output faster.
Overall delay of my path reduces.
Yes.
Okay. So input order we understand matters. Then, okay, this we already discussed. Yes, please.
So why was the delay for B2Y the highest? I mean, wouldn't it depend on is it falling delay or rising delay?
Yeah, we were looking at the NMOS stack. PMOS stack में तो दोनों parallel में है ना उधर. In the PMOS stack, both are in parallel, so the delay would be same.
I mean, sir, for rising, I mean, when the output is rising or when the output is falling, we will have different delays for A and B for different stimuli. We will get the worst case delays.
So even then, let us look at it like this. Even if it is a rising delay, it was 0 earlier. You took A to 0. So now what is the capacitance that needs to be charged? Only the capacitance on Y input, Y output. Am I right?
So what's the stimuli that you're giving?
It was, output was 0 initially. So both A and B were 1.
Yes.
Now I took A to 0. so that y charges to 1. That is what you want to see, na? Rise delay.
Yes, sir.
So now what is the delay? What is the RC? CMOS 2 and output is
Yes, sir. In this case, B will give the worst case in that case.
okay. So let us say the output is to fall.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the worst case?
This means that
If A was already 1 or if B was already 1. The
yes, sir.
other input now goes to 1.
Yes, sir.
Which one is more delay?
So if A changes, then
If A was already 1, then what has happened?
so now
Course,
A's
X is
capacitance
also charged to VDD.
because-
X is also charged to VDD. Or VDD minus VT, in fact.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Okay, sir. So in both cases, B is the worst case.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir, just to add upon this,
Yeah.
the input order also matters because if I consider a function y is equal to a into p plus c, then we'll have, if we attach the parallel connection of V and C to the output, then we'll have more parasitic capacitive loading at the output. So that has to be connected to the ground, whereas
Yes.
A should be connected to the output, right, sir?
So मैं तो कह रहा हूँ Ranjit, what I'm saying is that even in a simple two input NAND gate, even there, the input which is closer to the output should be the one that is arriving late.
Yes, sir.
Even in a simple circuit like a NAND gate, I'm telling you this, that order matters.
Yes, sir.
In a complex circuit, you're absolutely right. Bang on. Output definitely matters.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All of us understand why it matters? Any questions around that, please?
Yes, sir. So I mean, what exactly was we discussed? I was not able to get Ranjit was mentioning.
So Ranjit was mentioning that if it's a complex gate, it matters still more. Because then that will change the intermediate, like suppose if it's A and B parallel and C in series in the NMOS stack. So if I put C above on Y, if Y is directly connected, like the series in transistor C is connected to the output and A or B are in parallel connected to ground. Then there would be one delay. And if I have a different structure where A and B are in parallel connected to Y and C is in series connected to ground, that will have a different delay. For different, like there will be different delays for A, B, and C to output in these two structures. And you have to design appropriately. Experiment, you will see.
So you were saying that the input closer to the output should arrive the latest, right?
For a NAND gate, yes. Whichever input has shortest delay should be designed to be arriving last in your path. In this particular example, if you know that there are two inputs A and B, if you know that the first input is arriving faster, that first input should be connected to B.
So, but in that case, if you're considering the propagation thing, so the capacitance between these two that will discharge if it arrives fast. And will not get the will not get the worst delay then basically.
Yeah. We're not characterizing now. Now we are designing a path. You want the delays to reduce in a path, na, Raghav?
Okay, fine, okay.
We have graduated from characterization to designing.
Okay, so now we are ordering the input such that we get the least delays.
Least delay in my path. Just like for logical effort, the intent was to get least delay and least area in the path.
Okay, so but then in that case, we will also be the specification will also specify how the signals are arriving, right?
Yeah. So for example, if I ask you to make an adder, You will know now which signals will arrive first, which will arrive late.
Yes. Okay.
You are a designer. It is not about designing one gate, right? It is then designing a path. Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Similarly, you can actually make gates asymmetric so that the non-critical input may have higher load. For example, in this case, reset bar has higher load and a critical input A has lower load. So overall load of this gate would increase, but the delay for signal A would reduce significantly. Are you able to see this? See, my A signal was arriving late. A signal is on a critical path. Reset is something which, like sleep pin or something which already is there, static signal already there. So you let the reset bar come, and then for A, because that is the actual critical path, the critical input, you have reduced the delay very significantly by reducing the size of the NMOS. Are you able to see this? So if you're making full custom paths, then you may want to design asymmetric gates also so that you reduce total delays. Are you with me? Any questions?
And this critical thing was not clear, like the path of A is.
Critical path for over here would mean path which has the largest delay. So A was coming from a path which had the largest delay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
A was coming last. So I wanted to put A closer to the output. That I already did.
Yes.
Now I want to improve performance further.
Okay.
So what I did was I reduced the load on A also, so that A can arrive a little faster.
But
And
how
I
will-
increased the load on reset bar.
Right. Okay.
Sir, how did you share the load between A and reset, sir?
Share the load. I reduced the load of A.
But-
I reduced the load of A, so resistance of A increased. I then said, okay, let me increase the size of B so that I still get the same equivalent resistance as an inverter or a regular NAND gate.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Gagandeep?
Yes, sir. Sir, this is fine that you reduce that load for A. But sir, now Y node will also take more time to discharge to the 4x3 NMOS, which could be a faster discharge to a 4 NMOS.
So wait. Look at it like this. Had it not been 4x3, I would have designed two NMOSes of resistance of size 2.
Yes, sir.
So my overall resistance would have been R.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
what is the overall resistance now? 3/4R plus R/4. It still is R.
Okay, so you have upsized the reset also. Fine. Yes.
देखो ना, otherwise it would have been 2, na?
Yes, sir.
In a
Yes,
regular
sir.
NAND gate, you would have put both the NMOSes to be size 2. So the overall area you have increased, but the delay you have reduced. Huh?
Yes.
And you could actually also have symmetric gates designed. So you had two NMOSes, each was 2 microns, but both the inputs were coming randomly at same time. So you said, oh, I want to give equal delay from A to Y and B to Y. So you make a symmetric gate like this. 1 micron of A is closer to the output, 1 micron of B is closer to the output. The other 1 micron is farther from the output. Are you able to see this? Any questions on this also?
So we are just reducing the load here, right?
We've not reduced the load over here.
Then
NMOS
what-
B was supposed to go to a NMOS which was total size 2. It is still going to total size 2.
Yes, sir.
I've just rearranged the NMOSes in such a way that equal strength of A and B NMOSes is closer to Y and equal strength of A and B NMOSes is closer to ground.
Okay.
That's all I've done. Okay. And you can actually also make skewed gates. I'm just taking this through because this is kind of very simple and the last slide on CMOS. Okay. You can also make skewed gates if you want to say that I want to favor rising outputs over, because, for example, in an adder, carry equal to 1, you want to bring up faster. Carry goes to 0, you can bring it down later also. So you know that one path is faster. Or let us say even a comparator, a 20-bit comparator. So XOR gates connected to one another. You know that falling would anyway be fast. Rising is something that will take time. So I want rise to be faster. So you can actually skew the sizing so that when you skew the sizing, what happens? Your transfer characteristics shift to the left or to the right. I'm not able to draw this on my screen. I'm surprised why. So questions here. What happens when I skew? Are you able to see the benefit of skewed logic? Any questions around that?
Sir, but this brings an overhead with noise margin being affected, right, sir?
Yes. Yes. So even, when I went to asymmetric gates, noise margin could have been impacted.
But this increases the effect on noise margin with a greater extent, right, sir? Because any glitch can change the output at any instant.
Yes. But for my preferred side, I get a faster output. For example, if there is a signal which is continuously precharged to 1, and I want to sense when it falls.
Yeah, this
as
skewed
soon
gates
as
can
it
be
starts
used.
to fall, I want to sense it. Then I want to have this kind of a skewed logic.
Yes, sir.
Hai
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So actually, I'm not able to get this concept. Actually, can you this of skewed gates? Like what exactly we're doing here? Earlier, I was able to get like earlier we were reducing the load on the critical path. But
so now let us say that I am in the first gate. I am interested in output going to 1. Output falling, I'm not bothered about. In my state machine, output going to 1 has a very significant role to play. We're talking about a state machine here, where one transition is more important than the other.
Okay, the charging basically is more important for me than this charging.
Yeah, let us say that Y rising is more important than Y falling in the first case. So what happens now? The total load of A has reduced. Are you able to see this? Total load of A has reduced. Can you see this? Instead of 3, that is 2 of PMOS and 1 of NMOS, I now have 2.5 total load. Additionally, I said that because this load has reduced, A will now transition faster, and therefore my output will also transition faster. I've also skewed. So NMOS will now have lesser on current, and I will be able to take Y to 1 level much faster. So 2 ways I'm benefiting in terms of rising of Y.
So one was that the load was getting reduced, so transition faster. But what's the other benefit you?
So in the transfer characteristic, I have shifted this. Because I have made NMOS smaller than the strength of NMOS smaller than the strength of the PMOS. So my switching will happen faster, earlier, at a lower value of. In fact, at a still higher level of A, I will start to have Y rising, because NMOS will not be able to conduct as much current as the PMOS will be able to provide. You remember the skewed inverter wala cheese?
Yes, I mean that shift, that curve shift.
Exactly, that's it. That would happen, na?
Yeah. But that was impacting the noise margins. I mean,
that is also impacting the delays. That is what I'm telling you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So how will that impact the noise margin? Because it will just shift but not change the slope.
Now, a very small disturbance on A will also cause output Y to toggle.
Why? I mean, So we define noise margin as 45 degree slope for that around region C. So that region C is only shifting, but it is not
Yeah.
changing its slope. So
So
why is
एक
noise
मिनट
margin
मिनट 45 डिग्री स्लोप तो हमेशा ही कभी ना किसी हमेशा ही किसी ना किसी सर्किट की आएगी ना.
Yes,
So
sir.
what was the noise margin? The noise margin was 45 degree slope वाला point 2, 0 or 1.
So can you repeat that, please?
It was the point where you get that 45 degree wala slope. Just let's go to the whiteboard. We were saying that we said this point and this point.
Yes, sir.
They define my noise margin points. So what is the noise margin? This is the noise margin, na? So if I have shifted this curve here, if I've shifted this curve here, this 45 degree wala point has shifted here. So the noise margin has reduced, na?
Okay, got it. I understood noise margin wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you use skewed gates, the noise margin gets degraded. Okay. And you could have high skew, low skew, but you could design both the sides. Okay. So we will stop here. We have covered these concepts today. We talked about static CMOS, where pull-up network is a dual of pull-down network. We talked that complex gates are denser, they are low power, and they are equivalent speed. We talked about the importance of input orders, symmetric and asymmetric gates, and also skewed gates. Next class, we'll start to talk about different logic styles, ratioed logic, pass transistor logic, and other styles. Okay. So we'll close the class today. It's already beyond the class time. I know this. I'm sorry for that. But we had more discussion, and that was an important discussion. So we didn't stop that there. Okay. Thank you, guys. All the best.
Sir,
Stop the recording.
so just before even when you're saying that the input ordering, when you explaining the input ordering concept, we were basically more focused towards, we were basically in the concept of the critical path, critical delays. We were discussing
Yes.
the input ordering.
Yes. Yes.
But when we were discussing the skewed one, it was in the context of like favoring, like if that.
Yeah, now you're talking about critical path, not just in terms of path, but also in terms of which direction we want the transition to happen. We're being very, very specific.
So like it will be over and above that
Yes.
discussion. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.